as they discuss the biggest stories in the world of sports.
You put them all together, it makes a nice package, right?
Get ready
for passionate and intelligent conversation about the biggest issues and personnel in sports.
It's unscripted.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Some people call him dirty. I like to call him.
It's unfiltered.
I'm going to need another beer soon.
And I said, well, hold, you my point, right? My thoughts are I'm going to call my therapist after the show is what I'm going to do.
What's up, Bean Apple fans? Back again to wrap up Week 17. The season is officially over. Thank God for my side. Jim, you look like you're very happy. So we're gonna.
He should be. He should be very happy.
He should. So we're gonna break down the Jets Patriots barn burner. Really, that was a tough game to sit through and get excited about anything. We'll talk about the Giants doing what they needed to do and Philly doing what they did. I'm Joe here with John and Jim. We're going to break this thing down for you guys and have a little bit of fun at Jim's expense this week. It's going to be awesome. So with that,
I got Jacob here to defend me too. So
yeah, I'm sure he's probably feeling just as happy as you are today. So I don't know, Jacob, I'm interested to see how you're feeling, man. You've been on a complete roller coaster this season. So it's going to be fun to hear about this, but we're going to start off with the least exciting because I think we're going to have a little bit more to talk about with the Giants game. So let's break down that Jets Patriots game that I didn't see it coming. I thought there was a different Jets team that was going to finish out the year, and turns out same old Jets, same old Jets, never ends. So
So
what'd you like?
This is what I'll say about that game. Probably Cam Newton's last game as a Patriot. I don't dislike him. No ill will. I think he started the season off pretty damn good. Ended up with the COVID, and it is what it is. It didn't work out. But he's worked hard this year. I mean, if you look at his daily regimen of it starts at 4:30 in the morning or 4 in the morning, work by 4:30, out of the building by 8:30 at night. I mean, it wasn't by lack of effort. I think it was the fact he's sat out maybe the last year, hasn't thrown a football a whole lot, coming off an injury. Not making excuses, he had a poor year. I mean, 20 touchdowns total, 12 on the ground. But if this is indeed his last game as a Patriot, I just think it's pretty cool that he caught a touchdown, led the team in rushing, and threw for 242, went 21 of 30, 3 touchdowns in the air. Where's that been all year? And I know it's against the Jets, but it was good to see. I mean, I'm not glad that they won. I think we talked about that. I would have rather had a better draft pick. But, those guys were having fun. He was having a good time. I mean, for him to catch a touchdown pass, I thought that was pretty cool. I wish he could have ran one in, but it is what it is. So, I wasn't a fan of winning.
Never thought I'd hear you say those words.
Not this game. I mean, I want to say they dropped to 16 now, I think, in the pecking order. I'll have to take a look. 15, sorry. So, I think we cost ourselves a couple spots. But again, I mean, like the Jets did, they were playing to win every single game, obviously, and they won a couple to probably some fans' dislikeness of winning themselves out of the number one pick. But I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, I hate to always be right, but I picked the Patriots going 7-9 this year, and they finished 7-9. A couple games I didn't have them winning, that's for sure, but that's okay. Definitely not Baltimore, because I was worried about Baltimore. Unlike another certain person on the show, and I think that's the scariest team going into the playoffs besides the Packers, to be quite honest. But yeah, I mean, tough season, but I'll tell you what, I think it's one of Belichick's finest with the roster that he had. There was 2 other games where early in the season they 4th-1 against Seattle, which I think was piss poor play calling by McDaniels, and then that fumble at the 20. And then losing to Denver. I mean, there's 3 games to me they should have won, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I said this earlier on Facebook in a different thread. I honestly think if the Pats got to 10 games, if they won 10 games, Belichick would probably be up there for Coach of the Year. I don't think he's going to beat out what's his face in Buffalo. I think he's a shoo-in for it, to be quite honest. But I mean, hell of a year all around. I mean, not how we wanted after 20 years of winning, but hopefully they can rebuild. And we got a lot of money, got some draft picks, and let's go from there. And Darnold, I wouldn't trade a bag of old peanuts out of Yankee Stadium or an overpriced draft beer at Fenway Park for Sam Darnold. He looked terrible last night. And, I mean, there was – sorry, Joy. I know you think you're going to get something for him. That shit ain't happening, man.
I don't know. They were talking about it on ESPN today, and they were saying that they could probably get a second for him.
From what? I just don't know from what.
Somebody. I mean, the Dolphins traded a second for Josh Rosen last year. So
yeah, that was the unknown. The unknown.
He was so bad that they gave up on him after 1 year. So I don't know. Yeah, if they can get a first for Josh Rosen, who worked his way right out of Arizona like it was candy, basically just stole it. But why couldn't the Jets get something for Darnold? I mean, he's a game manager. It's what he is. Put him behind a good offensive line with some weapons. He'll win you some games. He's Jacoby Brissett. That's what he is.
I don't know about that.
I think Jacoby Brissett is better than Sam Darnold, to be quite honest. I would trust Jacoby Brissett more than Sam Darnold just by performance.
If Jacoby Brissett played for the Jets, he would not be in the NFL.
Well, I mean, like we were saying, Mahomes could have been on the Jets and they probably wouldn't have won many games. I get it. But, I mean, Darnold, it's been 3 years. I mean, would anybody trade for Jacoby Brissett if he was on the Jets? No. Would anybody trade for Mahomes if he was on the Jets? I mean, at least a high pick? No, because we wouldn't know what they have. And kind of like Jacob just said, actually, he trusts Sam Darnold more. I don't. Some of his decision making last night, and who knows, maybe he didn't give a shit. I don't know. Who cares? But some of those. I mean, that one interception wasn't even their receiver. So, is he colorblind? Maybe get checked after the year. I don't know, but he just didn't look good. I mean, he just didn't look good at all. And to me, that's how he's looked his whole career. And Joe, you very well may be right. Maybe it is the team that he played on, and I'm sure it is. Is he going to get better? I don't know, but time will tell. But I mean, maybe a third, maybe a third or fourth. I can't see first or second. But, I mean, if they draft a quarterback, you're not going to get anything for him because I know you're just going to release him anyways. So
right. Yeah, they got to trade him before the draft, and that kind of gives up that – that's going to show their hand on what they're doing, which obviously is going to mean a lot. But I think you kind of know anyway. I mean, it's like I was talking to other people about. You're bringing in a new coach now, right? So that's done. Adam Gase was fired last night for everybody. The world should know that by now, but if you don't, he was fired right out shortly after the game, about 3 hours after the game ended. So did his career with the New York Jets. Thank God. So we could put that one to bed, throw that baby out with the bathwater, and move on. But if you're going to move on with a new coach, you're done with Sam. Whether he's going to be good or not, it doesn't matter. A coach is not going to take Sam Darnold going into year 4 with a $25 million fifth-year option as his starting point. It doesn't make sense to do. If you're bringing in a new coach, you bring in a fresh quarterback with a full 4 years to work with them and go from there. Because if Sam is Sam, and that's what you've seen, now you've got a new head coach that's just wasted a year with him and now is moving on to a new quarterback anyway, and you're delaying the progression of this team a whole nother year. It doesn't make any sense. So Sam's done. I think the league knows it. He's done in New York. It is what it is. And you know what? I hate he's getting a lot of love on social media. I watched his his day after press conference today after Adam Gase got fired, and he was almost in tears talking about how bad he felt for Adam Gase and his family, and how much he actually said he was thankful for how much he has done for him since he's been here. And it's like, dude, what? It's got to be like Stockholm syndrome. I don't know what it is with Adam Gase, what effect he has on the people around him, but my God, he's like the Pied Piper. Like, just everybody just follows unquestioning. It makes like once you get around him, you just can't see anything outside of the realm of
He
possibility.
hypnotizes you. That's what it
He
is.
really does. Like he was almost in tears talking about how bad he felt and literally said, "I'm so thankful for everything he's done for me while I've been here." What has he done for you? He's ruined your career. Ruined it. Like it. I couldn't believe he was standing up there actually saying that. I would have rather him just say, "Next question, please." Like, it was
Yeah, but on a
insane.
personal level, who knows? Maybe Sam had some personal issues that he dealt with. I mean, obviously, his play on the field didn't reflect probably the greatest of circumstances. But, how they were behind the scenes, I mean, that's the part you don't know. It's like a lot of people think Belichick's an absolute prick because of his media relations.
Yeah.
But have you ever watched the video of him showing up to a Halloween party? I think it was Randy Moss's Halloween party when he was here, and dressed up, and him and his girlfriend at the time. I mean, it was hilarious. You see him as a person. So I think probably there was more to it. I mean, he may be the nicest guy in the world too. I mean, we don't know. He's, we just see what the media portrays and the anger of the fans.
As a person, I have no doubt that Adam Gase is a very nice guy. I really don't. He seems like a nice guy. Just when it comes to football, it just seems like he's outmatched. He was outmatched in Miami. He was outmatched, obviously, very clearly in New York. That was not a situation he should have been in. And it is what it is. I mean, that's the job. That's the pressure that comes with the job. There's 32 jobs available. You're going to take heat no matter which one you take, but New York is just a little bit hotter than everywhere else. But yeah, I know when we were watching this game and we were kind of talking going into it, John, you were talking about how good Sam looked early on, right?
He did.
And man,
he was making first throws.
And
then he went to pure dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, when there was no pressure on him, I mean, it was just terrible. That
vaulted Jets second half adjustment. That thing, that gets the Jets every time. It's amazing. It is insane. But man, yeah, he started out looking decent, but like I said, he just, there's nothing in his game that makes you think elite. He didn't make any plays that were like, oh man, that's next level. Just, a couple of nice throws that any quarterback should be able to make across the middle. Leave me alone. And he's just,
that might be Gase calling you.
I hope so. I hope so. We'll
Maybe
put him
he
on.
wants to work on the show.
Oh God! Can you imagine what he would do to us? Right down the crap. We'd have our views would go from we got 7 people right now to -3. We would actually owe views. We would owe views to other Jets channels and Giants and Patriots.
So some of these comments up here, Mike, I would absolutely take that. Absolutely take that trade, me personally. Dina, he did go to Tennessee. He's been much better. But if you remember, the year he showed up was the year really Derrick Henry kind of took over as lead back when DeMarco Murray left. So, I mean, he has a great running back to help him out, which I think takes a lot of pressure off him. And I hate Ryan Tannehill as much as I hate Baker Mayfield. I do. And I'm almost going to defend him. His numbers weren't bad in Miami. They just didn't win. Tannehill really didn't have terrible numbers when he came to Tennessee. Ted A. Jr.
He just couldn't stay in a game. That was his problem.
You're right. He couldn't, and he got to Tennessee with a solid running back and a beast in Derrick Henry, who surpassed 2,000 yards this year. So I don't know, and kind of what Chris is saying. Not all coordinators make good coaches. Look at the Patriot disciples. great coordinators. I think we had some of the best coordinators in that 20-year run, and so far one of them is panning out to be a decent head coach. So, and Flores, and I'll tell you what, not to veer too much off, but boy, Tua, I mean, he got demolished by Buffalo, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
That was hard to watch.
yeah. Matt Barkley almost had better numbers than Tua did, and they're coming up with a lot of questions too on what they do and what they do with Tua.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another one, Alabama quarterback. I love him, but dear God, he just didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the jury's out on Judge. I mean, we'll see how he does. He didn't have a great year. I know he lost Barkley, but I'd like to see him with a full roster. I mean, you have to give most coaches this year kind of a mulligan unless you're the Jets with Gase, because you already know what he has, or even Doug Marrone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand the Lynn firing at all, minus the 2 years of close ball games. But yeah, Joe Judge, I mean, I think the jury's still out on him. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how they do next year with Barkley back and maybe a receiver. Agreed. Much better.
No doubt. No doubt.
Discipline for sure.
Mhm.
But that's how Patricia was too. That's how he started out in Detroit, and it kind of happened there too. So
No, I think the team will rally around him next year. His second year in, and Barkley comes back, and we make a couple more tweaks, and all season he's been trying to tweak and bring different players in, and he just seems like he's front and center at all times and with the players. And I think year two will definitely be better. I mean, we should have had some more wins this year, but we'll get into that.
Well, and the Giants too, if you think about it. I mean, you're following Eli's footsteps, and not that he had the greatest numbers ever, boy, but he won. He was a quarterback that won 2 Super Bowls and he won games. So, I mean, again, you're following into a team that's been successful, and sometimes, doing a good job isn't going to show in the win and loss column.
Yeah. Right. And, to go back to Michael's question there about the trade, I think that's actually very, very fair trade value because I'm looking up the trade chart. So the Jets' number 2 pick is worth 2,600 points. Atlanta's number 4 pick is worth 1,800 points. So you basically have to double that to get up, to get into that conversation where they're going to actually move people. So that's tough. You got to add. Well, I mean, you don't have to double it, but you know what I mean. You've got to add quite a bit.
Close enough.
Yeah, you got to add quite a bit of points to that to get into the conversation where the Jets are willing to move back. So their second round pick is worth 500 points. So that would put you close. But I think, if you threw in next year's first round with this year's, I think that would be enough to push them to do that. With the second round pick, I think that would push it up enough to make it worth it. If you already trade Sam and you're going for a quarterback, and God, I hope it's Zach Wilson that they're targeting over Fields. Let Atlanta jump up, take Fields. You slip back to 4. You still get the guy you want at 4, and you get an extra first and an extra second this year. That would be awesome. Absolutely best case scenario if they could pull it off. Plus, John, I think you're right. A third is probably fair for Sam. It's an upside play for somebody if he ends up turning out to be what he was drafted to be. If not, it's a third round pick. You can live without it. So I think that would be good. And that gives the Jets a ton of draft capital on top of what they've already got. Really good move for the future. I like it. But yeah, there's outside of that, when we're talking about this game, there was nothing that I liked about this game, except for the fact that I think Cam earned himself another 1-year deal.
I mean, maybe a 1-year deal is a backup. I think Hoyers will be done. The fact that Stidham hasn't played at all during these last 3 or 4 games while Cam struggled. I mean, he really struggled. Yeah, minus this last game. So
that tells you what they think of Stidham.
Exactly. So I don't see Stidham coming back. I mean, if he does, again, maybe a backup role. But again, to not even want to see how he can do in 3 games, 3 meaningful games too, by the way. prior to the Jets. I mean, I just don't understand why they wouldn't do it, or he's just not ready. So maybe as a backup, but looking early, I was reading about somebody asked Cam what he thought about becoming a backup, and he mentioned he don't know if he's ready for that. He's not even really thinking about that. So would he come back as a backup? I don't know. Do you come back as a backup after you were the starter all year? I don't know. I mean, pride kind of probably sets in, but I mean,
but I think
maybe.
for the Patriots, where you're drafting at 15, if you take a quarterback, he's not your starting guy.
No,
right out the gate. So you bring Cam in on a 1 year and let Mac Jones or Trey Lance or somebody like that sit behind for a year, get up to game speed, and then you hand him the reins in 2022. That sounds like, to me, a good plan. I mean, Cam looked like old Cam, 21 for 30, 242, 3 touchdowns, and 11 for 79 on the ground. That is Carolina Cam Newton right there. That's vintage Cam, and he pulled it out in the last game. And this is the Jets defense who shut down the Browns and the Rams back-to-back weeks. Probably flukes, but Cam looked great. That's the only thing that I could say about this game that looked good was Cam Newton. He looked like old Cam, and that's us asking you when the game was going on. Is this his push to come back next year? And I think that would be the smart thing. You take Trey Lance with your first-round pick. You develop him over the course of this year. You let Cam be your placeholder again, and then you hand the reins over and see if that's your guy.
Yeah, I would rather them go after one of the top 3 wide receivers if they're there. Yeah. Looking at some of the mock boards, they got the Giants. Speaking of Jacob talking about wide receiver, Devontae Smith going to the Giants at 11. Yeah. And then Jalen Waddle now I've seen twice slated for New England, which I'd take either or.
Smith will not be there at 11.
I personally don't think so either. I mean, I think
he'll be gone by Detroit. I don't think he'll make it past Detroit personally.
Probably. I don't know. I reaching on a guy who didn't even play this year from, where is he? North Dakota State or something like that.
Trey Lance.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't evaluate talent. Bill Belichick does, but I just can't see him using his first top 15 pick in 21 plus years on a quarterback that didn't play this year and plays in basically Division 1A conference.
It wouldn't surprise me though, because Bill sucks at first round picks, so you might as well just throw a dart at something.
First round offensive picks, he's hit pretty well in first round defensive picks. Yeah. Wide receivers, he's terrible. So I don't know if I want him to take Waddle or Smith anyways.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be like Adam Sandler's girlfriend wore Van Halen's T-shirt in The Wedding Singer. He said, "Hey, stop wearing my shirt. You're going to break the band up." I'm going to use that analogy again because that's what it is. For whatever reason, we suck at that. So,
Bill Belichick does to wide receivers what the Jets do to quarterbacks.
So maybe if we take the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and put them somewhere else. Put them to the Giants. There you go. Let's say we go to the Giants.
Yeah. Right. So, Cruz, you should go back, watch our last episode where we broke down we really talked about Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and what's to come of that. I think the consensus was that right now Trevor Lawrence still has too tight of a grip, but I am watching ESPN all day today, a lot of conversation, and there are some experts that are saying Justin Fields has earned his way into that conversation to be the number 1 pick. I don't know if it's just, news fodder trying to get the headlines, but if he goes off and he's practicing, he's supposed to play. He said he was feeling okay when he woke up. So we didn't think he would be able to get out of bed, but I guess he's tougher than he seems. So that's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see what that championship game is going to look like. Because if he balls out, it's going to get juicy. It is going to get juicy. What else? Carlos, I think Indy would give up a 3rd round pick for Sam. I could see that happening. With Phillip Rivers was just a 1-year stopgap. He had a great year, but I think you could throw Sam in there with that offensive line, with that running back, Jonathan Taylor Thomas there out of Wisconsin, right?
The Badges.
Man, he looked good. I didn't see what he finished with. Last time I checked, he was at like 171 yards. I don't know how he finished, but man, he was putting up some numbers. He looks good. I mean, you got Pittman, you got I think T.Y. Hilton is a free agent, but
T.Y. is a free agent.
So yeah, he's in. I could see them giving up a 3rd-round pick for him. I don't know. We'll see.
253, Joe. Sorry, 30.
253. Wow.
For 253 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, talk about going insane. And again, it's Jacksonville. I get it, but hot damn, you hit 250. I mean, you're in beast status right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Averaged 8 yards a carry.
Derrick Henry hit 250 on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's your dream matchup in DraftKings, huh?
Yeah, no shit.
Whew, 2 of those guys.
Did that.
That's some money. That's some money right there. But yeah, I mean, Mike, that's a good point. Sam Darnold is only 23 years old, so there's there's a lot of time for him to grow and develop. Burrow's 25 years old, so he's young. He's been playing for 3 years, and he's still younger than last year's 1st-round pick. I mean, that's just wild. I don't know.
I wouldn't give up on him. I mean, I wouldn't. You're right. He's 23. I mean, but I just wouldn't give a lot up for him. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Has he hit that?
That's why it warrants a 3rd or 4th round pick. Honestly, 3rd or 4th round. I think you could probably get.
I think so. I think that's fair. But nothing on the Jets side looked great at all. So I'm so happy that the season's over and we're progressing somewhere else. And the other good thing about the Jets is listen to Christopher Johnson. It sounds like he's actually going to kind of stay out of this hiring process. So that's kind of been like the downfall for the Johnsons the last couple of years is they've brought in outside talent evaluators to find GMs. They listen to Peyton Manning on who they should bring in for a coach. They just do, they bring in NFL insiders and different people. Like, just let your GM hire his coach. Just you trust the GM to run your business. Let him run his business like that. So that sounds promising. They've got an interview request with Eric Bieniemy, with Indy's defensive coordinator. I don't remember his last name, but Matt Flubergast or something. You know me with names. So, and then, I did see that as well. Urban Meyers, but I don't think he's doing anything. He almost had a nervous breakdown coaching for Ohio State. I don't think he's going to come to the NFL. So
he's not coming.
So there's going to be some good moves, I think, for the Jets, but I don't think it's going to be Eric Bieniemy after the Chargers fired Anthony Lynn and the Jaguars officially opened up that head coaching spot. Those are 2 places that are much more enticing. Even no, I think Atlanta's on its way down, but I think the Chargers and the Jaguars, that's 2 very, very enticing jobs with Justin Herbert down there. And now you got the 1st pick and the most salary cap to spend. And you also have the Rams 1st-round draft pick as well, which is a nice pick as well. So they're sitting pretty. I don't know who the Jets are going to get, but it's not going to – I don't think it's going to be one of the top guys coming to see us, which sucks. But
I said it before. If I'm Bieniemy, I'm staying in Kansas City. I'll go on the interviews and for my own development, go through the process. But man, I would stay there and win some championships.
What about the Chargers, though, Jim?
Well, I mean, so the Chargers are intrigued. I mean, he's from Louisiana, right? So he's from the South. So I thought, Jacksonville, maybe that makes sense for him. But still, I feel like, the Chargers are closer, I think. At least they have a winning season probably, as opposed to, going right to the Jets or the Jags. They're not going to have a winning season next year.
No. Maybe they finished 7-9, so it's not like they were far off.
Who?
Chargers.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if you go to the Chargers, you may have a winning season in your first year coming in. But to leave KC and just have mediocrity just for the money. I'd rather take less money and win than the other way around. That's again, I'm not him, but that's how I would look at it. And I would look at becoming the Chiefs head coach in a couple of years when Reed walks off, and you still got Mahomes for a couple more years after that. So I wouldn't be going anywhere if I'm him. But people,
but you got to strike while the iron's hot too. I mean,
I guess. But like we said, it doesn't always work out. It doesn't always work out. You may go to another team and get let go because you can't do it. Yeah, just because you can. I know he's coached in different titles over the years on different teams, but it doesn't mean you could be the head coach.
No, but you're still going to get picked right back up again by somebody. I mean, even Todd Bowles, first year out, now he's leading the Tampa Bay defense down there. That thing looks awesome. Right. Anthony Lynn's going to pick up a defensive coordinator job. People are going to be chomping at the bit to get him in a defensive coordinator spot. So you go do your head coach thing. If it falls through, you get picked up on what you were doing anyway. So, if he
look
sucks,
at Jason Garrett.
He should get out of here. We got to get rid of him.
Perfect example.
You're gonna get hired again. I would love to see Bieniemy go to the Chargers. I mean, would they lose 5 games by less than a touchdown this year? Yep. I mean, that's a swing of almost it's potential 12-win season with a true rookie quarterback that came in. So, re-sign Keenan Allen. You got Eckler long term. Man, you got some pieces there. Mm-hmm. And now you draft him pretty high. You're probably going to draft that linebacker from Penn State. My God. Team him with Bosa. That's going to be frightening.
Yeah,
it's going to be a frightening team.
Micah Parsons?
I can't remember his name. Is that his name?
Yeah, they got a defense. Yeah, I mean, that's a team that's definitely intriguing to go to. Yeah. For
Jimmy Jets fan, we don't understand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Winning? What is that? How do you spell winning?
And Chris Clark, if we draft a kicker in the first round, I'll be a Jets fan. I'm done.
Wow.
That means Belichick lost it. He absolutely lost it. Or his dog hit the wrong button when they were drafting on the computer.
I'm so excited.
I'll be a Jets fan. They take the kicker in the first round. I'll stop by my Jets gear.
We'll talk about who you should get first. We'll get you a nice jersey.
Fields, man. Justin Fields. Don't worry, I'll get it.
He's not going to the Jets.
Yes, he is. He was.
Oh, man. You just can't stop. It's either Adam Gase or it's Justin Fields. Just oh God. I don't want it's as good as Fields looks. No, thank you. He can go to
Why don't you just take him and then trade him? Trade him right now.
Yeah, trade him.
Work the trade. Select them at 2.
Eli.
Figure out who else wants them. Take them at 2 and then work the trade.
Yeah.
And if it don't work out, you have them. And then what do you do? Do you keep somebody asked earlier, do you keep what's his name? Flacco too? What's Flacco going to do?
I would keep Flacco just to kind of mentor him. Whoever you draft, if you draft a quarterback, in fact, I'll say this: if the Jets signed Flacco, then they just gave their hand away in the draft because that means he's going to mentor a young quarterback.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We'll see. But it's going to be a fun offseason to.
It's going to be great. Can't wait
to dip back in and recap as we go through this because there's going to be a lot. I was talking to my wife about it, and watch on ESPN. We were out and about today, looking at things, and as much as people, as bad as the Jets are year in and year out, there is no lack of conversation to be had around the Jets every year. It's. And it's they're not even bashing on it. It's just what is it? They're just such.
Why are they still a team like that kind of conversation?
I mean, talking about who
still in the league.
Talking about who the next coach is, and they're breaking down. They're breaking down what the Jets are going to do in the draft, who their next coach is going to be, and they're not talking about any of these other teams. It's just deep dive into the Jets. So you can hate them. They could suck year in and year out. Man, they drive some news. I'll give them that.
But
They do.
I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So at least there's always something to talk about as a Jets fan. Might not be winning, but there's something to talk about.
You're right. Well, it's a big city, right? Big market. So
yeah. So let's talk about something that there actually is to talk about. A little intriguing news in the land of giants.
What?
Man, Giants came through, man. I thought the Cowboys were going to take them down. They were playing so good. Giants were playing like shit, and then all of a sudden it flip-flops again.
Sure
Cowboys
did.
Nation.
And you knew it. You knew watching the game, like we've talked about, right from the beginning, you knew Dallas had nothing, right? Dalton has nothing today. And sure enough, I mean, we ran and it wasn't huge numbers, right? 23-19. We had to lead the whole game. We never relinquished it. Had a decent lead at halftime. Yards and rushing and passing weren't big, but we did what we had to do, right? Shepard had a couple of touchdowns. Dante Pettis had a touchdown. And it was great to get that win, right? I assumed we would win. I thought it was going to happen. And we go ahead and we do what we got to do, right? So it was great to see. I know John thought, no, I don't think either one of you thought the Giants were going to beat Dallas, but I did. I wholeheartedly did think that we were going to beat them because that's how they are, right? That's what happens with them. They do not win. And the Giants have played some decent games this year against Seattle and other teams that I thought they would come up big against, and even against Tampa Bay. But really it's what happened at night. That's the conversation, right? I mean, so they win the game. We eliminate the Cowboys. Great, right? I thought Cowboys were winning the division this year. When we started the show, we said Cowboys are winning it. They're taking it, no doubt. And to eliminate the Cowboys was great. I mean, that's an accomplishment for me. And as a Giants fan, to be in it the last week of the season, the last game 256, and you still have a shot. I mean, that doesn't happen every week to every team. So it was exciting to be able to sit there and watch the primetime Sunday night game that was going to determine whether or not we're in.
They should never. And
then I watched the game, right? So
what happened?
I don't know if you saw it.
There was a Sunday night game?
Yeah. How is this even? I get why they did it, right? I mean, because it did have some implications, but neither team was doing anything, right? Neither team was doing anything. But the Eagles were doing more, right? So Smith, who I've liked since KC and San Fran, cannot move back there. The guy cannot move. He was getting rushed and falling and off balance and hobbling around and was just horrible. I mean, we were talking earlier that, Hurts wasn't doing anything. They threw for like 70 yards. He ran in 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. But the Eagles, all along, you felt they got it. The Eagles are winning tonight. There's no way Washington is going to win this game. I don't care. Chase Young is over there and he's smiling and everything else. They had nothing. They had nothing. And everybody knew it. And, And then Peterson, decides to throw the game. And so before it was even blatantly obvious for me, there was a play in the third quarter before they even went for it on 4th and goal, which was ridiculous, down 3.
Yeah.
There was a play where they were like on the 35 or 36 yard line, and they're talking, the cameras on Al Michaels and Collinsworth up in the booth. And they go up to the line and they take a delay of game. And Collinsworth, the camera's on Collinsworth, and he's looking over the top down on the field thinking, his head even turns like, what the hell are they doing? What are they taking a delay a game for? And then punting. They could have kicked, it was like a 51, 52-yard field goal. They were down 3. Why aren't you kicking a field goal? You take a delay a game and then punt. And that's when I first thought, wait a minute. Is the fix in here? What the hell's going on? What are you doing?
Yeah, I thought that was really weird.
So you saw that.
I did. Yeah. I was like, what are you? And then but it didn't look like anybody on the offense had any plans of even kicking a field goal. They were just standing there waiting for the delay for the flag.
Right. I mean, it wasn't even like they were trying to draw him off sides. They were just kind of like, we don't know what we do. It was like, he's not calling a play in. He's listening. There's no play coming. Right. I don't know what to do. I'm going to stand here and then a penalty's going to go off. And no one's going to call timeout for me either. I mean,
yeah.
But
Zio makes a great point there too for you. It's so true.
Is that how you feel every week?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'll tell you what. Like. How do you stick around then? I'm watching the game, and then here they go down the field again. They're down there. It's 1st and goal, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and goal, down 3, 4-yard line, 7-8 minutes left in the game. No, we're going to go for it. What are you doing? You're down 3 points. Tie the game. You know that Hurts wants it. And God, I wish I wish Hurts would have connected on that pass. He wasn't far off, right? Bostic is coming at him, and he throws the ball, and he's just short. If he connects and they go up, 21-17 there, what is Peterson going to do? Is he going to take out everybody so to make sure they lose? Are they just going to call hike and everybody part the Red Sea? Right. I mean, actually, I was talking to my sister earlier. She's putting up there. She said to me before the game, I heard that Peterson may put in, Sudafed or whatever the kid's name is. They're going to put him in.
Jim. You are so mad.
They're going to put him in. And I thought, well, I get it.
Because he was fast asleep.
I said, if it's 35-3 and you put the kid in, okay, who cares, right? But you can't put him in on a 3-point game. And, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, so they throw the pass, they miss it, whatever, and they have him back. But the Redskins couldn't do anything. They weren't doing it. He throws the interception right away. That's how they ended up back at the 4-yard line again. Yeah. But just disgusting. I mean, to me, it's the fix was in, right? I think absolutely. And now Ron Rivera is coming out today saying, "Oh, I defend him." No, I don't think you did anything wrong. You don't think you did anything wrong? The backup quarterback's been there for 4 years. You don't know what he has yet. You got to put him in this game. And I get it. It's not about what they should have helped us or they shouldn't have helped us. It's playing the game. What's the Herm Edwards line? We play the game to win, right? Was that what he said?
Playing to win the game.
Oh, you have it. Look at that. I didn't even know you had it. That wasn't made up. That wasn't a setup. But you saw the offensive line. I mean, Kelsey and the other guys not happy. I think he snapped that ball to the new kid to the side on purpose to try and get him knocked out of the game to get Hurts back in. I mean, did you see that snap that went past him and Chase Young picked it up and I think Boston Scott tackled him. But how do you do that? How do you do it? Tell me. I don't understand it. I mean, you gotta. How do you let your team down? Schwartz said there's a no hat policy. We're not letting the Washington win. That the defense was trying to win. They were all over Smith all game. They're trying to win the game. The offensive line's trying to win the game. Hurts is trying to win the game, but the coach isn't. The coach isn't. Yeah. So how are you going to win?
So Jalen Hurts numbers: 7 for 20, 7 for 20 for 72 yards and an interception. Right. And now he's known for his running, 8 for 34. Okay.
2 touchdowns.
2. He had 2, right? Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. So, all right. So it's not like he was having a barn burner of a game. Now, did they throw it? Did they want to lose? I don't blame Philly because if I was a Philly fan, I'm hoping they're losing too. The reason why everyone's talking about it is because there was so much implications for the Giants. Mm-hmm. Of course. So if this game meant nothing, we're not even talking about. We don't even know about any of this. But I mean, look at Jalen Hurts' numbers last night. I mean, I watched that game. He can't throw.
He was the best option. Wentz was the best option, probably, but Wentz didn't even get suited up, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Wentz and Jeffries were healthy scratches, and what Dina was talking about that was true that Hurts wasn't going to play the whole game. I mean, I don't know. Did he throw it? I mean, it sure looked it. Absolutely. But you know what? But do they win even if Hurts plays the rest of the game? I mean, those numbers were terrible. He looked awful as a quarterback.
If they would have tied the game up at 17 in the third quarter, probably. It's a 50.
Why are you going to kick field goals? You're 6-10. I mean, honestly, why not? I mean, honestly, if you're going to try and win, all indications. So I'll play devil's advocate right now. All indications by going forward on 4th down, trying to score more points. I mean, technically, he looked like he was trying to win. If he threw it, he has some good defense of why he wasn't trying to. I mean, they had a tie earlier in the season, right? Didn't these two teams tie earlier? Did Philly have a tie?
Philly and Cincy.
Yeah, sorry. So they've already tied once. He didn't play to win, and that was like the second game of the year or some crazy shit, whatever it was. But who knows? Maybe he was trying to win, and he just made bad decisions. I don't know. I'm going to be the benefit of the doubt here. No. I don't blame them at all. I mean, at all.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the whole game?
Yeah.
I mean,
Not the whole game.
I don't even know how you can say that.
I watched the game up and through about halfway through the fourth quarter. There was some suspect calls, but what do you have to lose in the last game? So here's a guy dealing with his billion-dollar baby here, pissed off he wants out of Philly. They can't trade him because he's a $40 million cap hit. His second best option is a guy who's going 7 for 20 against a decent Washington D that can't throw the ball 30 yards accurately. They're in trouble. So and then the fact that Wentz came out before the game and said he wants to get traded because him and Peterson don't gel together, that's telling me Peterson's coming back. So who knows? Maybe the owner said, hey, Doug, you may want to fuck this shit up tonight and lose the game.
Yeah, I mean, it could have came down from upstairs and said, you're not winning. I don't care what you do. You lose tonight, and you're coming back. And, so if the owner wanted to get rid of Peterson, right, he does that. Peterson does it and lays down like a dog and then gives up the game. And then now that there's an uproar, because the Eagle fans – I have to believe the Eagles fans aren't happy with it. They're not saying, oh, good, we get the – I don't think so. I think it's about – you look at the guys like Hurts and these other guys that wanted to win the game, and you play to win. You don't play to lose. It's one thing if you get blown out. If it's 35-3, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're in the fight, you cannot just lay down.
The Eagles are drafted in the top 6 now.
Who cares? Are they one guy away from a Super Bowl? No.
Who knows?
No. I know. The answer is no.
You don't know.
No. Neither. All 4 of our teams were not one guy away from anything. So, no, that's not the answer. No.
Look. If I was a Philly fan, I'd say good for you because that's what I wanted New England to do against the Jets. Somebody wrote earlier, you don't lose against the Jets. Who cares? What are you playing for? Honestly, what are you playing for between 6 and 10 and 7 and 9?
It's for the win. It's for the win.
I get it. But as a fan, I want to see a really good player drafted. Do you think the Jets fans are glad they won 2 games?
No.
Are they, Joe?
Oh, I can answer that. Pick me.
No.
You in the green?
No. So you in the green?
Yeah. What is no, Alex? What is no?
Thank you, Dina. Yes, they gained 3 spots. I mean, it's a genius.
Listen, that's a fan comment. That's a fan.
Of course it is.
The players, Kelsey, the center, isn't saying, "I hope we lose tonight. I hope I'm banging my head against this guy for 60 minutes. I hope we lose so I can go." No way.
So
no way.
You don't think so? So if he intentionally threw that game and he made it known he did it, let's say this: you're telling me there's not going to be a player that doesn't go on social media or sends a text to Adam Schefter and says, hey, don't use my name, but I'll tell you what, we were told to lose this game. Somebody would come out and say that. We haven't heard it yet because it already would have been out.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was said, hey, we're going to throw it. But you're right. He can sit certain players. But if the players are playing hard, what does it matter who's in there then? Because they're still trying.
No, it's talent level, though. I mean, you're reducing your talent level and making your team less competitive. It's what the Jets did all year by cutting people, trying. I wholeheartedly believe the Jets were trying to tank by trading everybody, by cutting players. They were trying to lower their talent level on the team. Unfortunately,
how'd that work out?
The Greg Williams trade fired everything back up again.
Then the GM should be fired. If that's what the GM did to this team, then he should be fired.
Well, it'll work out.
Quite honestly.
We're getting Zach Wilson and everything's going to be fine. But But Dina's exactly right. That's the smart move here. Is if you're Doug Peterson, you're under contract. Now you're in the position to draft a top wide receiver.
Or a defensive back or something.
You would have been you're picking 6th now. You would have been picking 9th. You're not going to get Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith at 9. It's just not. It's not going to happen. At 6, there's a good chance one of them might be there, depending on what the Lions.
I think Smith will be there. I don't think Chase.
You pair now. You've got one of the best wide receivers coming out. You've got a solid weapon. If you're drafting it, if you're picking at 9, you're still going to get somebody good. But man, to me, that's worth it. If I'm coaching, It's one more loss. It doesn't affect the outcome of our season whatsoever, but it adds.
You have a responsibility to your players. Forget about all the other stuff. You don't know what's going to happen next year. You don't even know if he's going to be back next year. You're at the 4-yard line. 3 tries you couldn't get it in. You kicked the field goal and tied a game. You tied a game.
Yeah, but
tell that
you
to
have a
Belichick. I
responsibility.
would have loved for them to do that this year.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You got flexed to the prime time game. You got flexed to prime time, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you're just going to lay down. You're going to lay down. I mean, it's raining out, right? It's and they're going to we're going to try one more time to get in from the 4-yard line. No way. And listen, I talked to my sister before the game, and I said to her, if Smith wins, if Washington wins, I'm all for Smith and the comeback and what he had to go through with his leg. Great, nothing but pride in the fact that he was able to do it, and even same thing for Rivera, right? But you can't do it not that way, right? I mean, if they would have came in and beat the Eagles, then they beat the Eagles, but they didn't beat the Eagles. That's not what happened last night.
But see, John, to go against you here, why do you pull Hurts? What is the point? He's played what?
Wait, don't you want to see if he can beat them?
So you're starting him over Carson Wentz for a reason, and you're not going to let him finish the last game of the season.
Right. Who are you evaluating? You're evaluating Sudafed and not Hurts? Really? You don't want to see if Hurts is going to be your guy to make a comeback and win your game? Come on.
That literally tells that shows you what he was doing in that game. And I think he was forecasting the fact that yes, the Eagles have been playing hot. They might win that game, and he might pull somebody to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Maybe
he's forecasting the what if, and then as it's getting closer, he starts, all right, let's throttle back. Let's go for it on 4th. Let's take a delay of game. Let's go ahead and get Hurts out of there because he's running a little too well, and there's a chance we could win this game. So I don't blame him.
He wasn't playing well, though.
As he was playing better than...
They knew Washington wasn't playing well either. Washington's 3 and out, interception.
Right,
they couldn't move the ball for nothing. So he's like, I gotta double down. I'll put in our worst possible chance of winning. And then we'll throw the snap away. And the kid had like 2 turnovers in the first 5 plays, and they didn't think. And you see Hurts on the sideline, like, "Hey, coach, I'm here. Put me in. I'm ready. I got my helmet.
I can play that bad. I can play that bad if that's what you want. Just ask."
So having a team with a quarterback with similar numbers last night from Hurts, I can tell you, I wanted Stidham in a lot when Cam wasn't performing. I truly did. Why Bill didn't, I don't ever know. So that's why I guess I don't question this as much. He wasn't doing shit. Okay, so he scored 14 points. When did they score that? First quarter? Second quarter. Mm-hmm. So third quarter he does nothing. He looks absolutely terrible. He wasn't moving the ball. He wasn't doing well. And Philly, quite honestly, they're in some trouble. Because I think Carson Wentz is going to come in as a starter next year. He's going to have to, because I don't think Hurts is ready. I don't think Hurts is ready to be a true NFL quarterback.
Right.
And I don't know. No. I mean, why would you put in a guy that sits 4 years back there? I don't know, Jim.
I know why. Because check with his bookie. That's why. Why don't you check his bank account and see if he has a big direct deposit this week going in? That's what happened.
This is a lot better than I thought.
Come on, what are you talking about?
This is a lot better than I thought this was going to be.
No, they didn't make an agreement before the game. Come on.
But John, if Bill Belichick actually pulled Cam and put Stidham in, and Stidham sucked, would you want him to? Would you want him to put Cam in, or would you want him to go to the 3rd string quarterback for evaluation? Would you want him to put Hoyer in?
Well, I think we already know what Hoyer had. Hoyer stayed on the team for COVID.
And that's the point with the Eagles, is you know what you have with Sudfeld. Like he's not anybody you need to evaluate. So you basically pulled Cam to put Stidham in to evaluate, and then pulled Stidham to put Hoyer in, who you already know what you got. That's what the Eagles did. They benched Wentz. They went with Hurts, said, nope, we're going to pull you and just throw a 3rd string in to finish this game out for no reason. Mm-hmm. So I agree. Am I mad at him for doing it? No, I think it was a very smart move for the Eagles, who need a lot of help. They need help. They played a couple good games. They got hot, but that's it. They shouldn't have won as many games as they did, but they did. And Hurts played a couple of really good games, but they need talent. They have
neither team is good. Neither team has a receiver that could get separation at all. That's why neither guy could do anything. They couldn't.
McLaurin's pretty good.
Yeah, but okay, but did he do anything last night? No, Alex Smith couldn't even get to him. He couldn't even move. He's like a statue.
Playing hurt. I mean, he's playing hurt.
I get that. But I mean, the Eagles were in his face the whole time. So he was hobbling around running for his life, and he couldn't do anything. And what's going to happen next week? Now Washington has to play Tampa Bay. What's going to happen? You think that's going to be a competitive game? Come on.
So I wanted to touch on this, John. How in the fuck does Tom Brady year in and year out get the easiest path to the playoffs? Every year this happens.
So
I don't
either way,
how.
And I'm gonna throw this out there. It doesn't matter what team he'd be playing next week. Any NFC East team, they got to thrash. Tampa's on a roll right now. They're a much different team than they were 6 weeks ago. Much different team.
You mean we almost beat them? Well, we should have beat them, but they didn't give us the call. Yeah.
Here.
You forgot that? Come on.
Jim, this is so awesome.
Hey, hater, whatever.
And Chris, I agree. They should have played Stidham more this year. But I'll tell you what, they really don't have the easiest road, because after they beat Washington, they're gonna probably have to go to New Orleans, and they haven't shown they can beat New Orleans yet.
No.
So,
but wins with no running backs. I mean,
right. I mean, and I bet on Carolina. I'm the stupidest person ever. But I don't know how Tom Brady gets that road. I don't know, but hey, I'm happy for Tampa. I want to see a Tampa Green Bay game is what I want to see.
Even being a Patriots fan, you've got to admit, like somehow it just lines up to where they just get these crazy simple roads to the playoff. I mean, a lot of first round buys, but then like somebody would win some fluke playoff game and then have to go play the Patriots, and it would just basically be a one game. They'd have to win one game to get to the Super Bowl. You're just
and you point that out. Remember Jacksonville a few years back? We played them in the AFC championship game. I mean, that was what, 2017 or something like that, or 2016? Is that the year we played them when they?
They haven't been.
Yeah, it was like Jacksonville we played. I want to say. Here, hold on.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
Yeah, they were on the cusp of greatness. Was it AFC championship game?
Yeah.
New England and Denver. Okay, that was 2016. Let me put 2017. I mean, it was fairly recent where Jacksonville was in the playoffs and we beat them.
Either way, this is going to be a walk in the park here. I mean, the Giants would have gave them a fight, I think, much more than Washington is going to. I mean, I can't wait to see. I don't know if the spread came out yet, but what is it going to be, 13.5 at least?
I don't think it'll go double digits in the playoffs.
I do.
I
saw the game last night.
And you see, for some reason, the other part with Tom Brady is just shut up. Like when you're playing Tom Brady, shut up. Like Chase Young is already talking shit. Like why? Why?
Yeah.
I know you've been watching Tom Brady since you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, man. Like you do not give Bill Belichick or Tom Brady ammunition. Ever. No. And this is, I mean, I'm a Jets fan. I know this. Like, you just ask Rex Ryan how his coaching career went because he couldn't shut up. Like, just be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Just be quiet. I mean,
so 2018, January 21st, 2018, New England beat Jacksonville in the AFC Championship 24-20. Jacksonville was 12-7 that year. I mean, that was only a couple of years ago. Isn't that crazy? It doesn't seem it. What the hell happened? I mean, honestly, what happened?
Really? What? Yeah. Where was the? Did I get abducted? Was I on another planet?
I don't remember Jacksonville.
It was 2018, January 21st. It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, Jacksonville was playing in the AFC Championship game.
Huh. Well, I mean,
who was there?
That's true. They did have a very good defense. It was a defense that carried because they had Jalen Ramsey,
Leonard Fournette.
They had
Lambeau was killing them with field goals that game. That's for sure.
Ngakoue, I think, was a rookie that year, right?
Yeah, I mean, we only won by 4.
They had a really good defense. Who was their quarterback?
That's what I'm pulling up right now. Let's see. Blake Bortles.
That's right. Like I said, the easiest paths to the Super Bowl.
Blake Bortles. Oh, Johnny Muck. I don't know.
They had a comeback.
What is the largest spread in
NFL playoff history?
Is it near Seattle made it at 7-9?
Maybe. But while you're looking that up, Jim, where do the Giants go now? I mean, I understand this is hard because you've been in it the whole year. You haven't had to shift gears mentally to start thinking about like, all right, what's next for the New York Giants? But now here you are, just thrown on the cusp. So where do we go?
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, the pieces we need are we need the blind side. We need help on the blind side because Andrew Thomas isn't the guy. And we need a pass rusher for sure. So I think there is what's the guy's name? Russo out there. Maybe we go after him on the edge, or the defense. The secondary I think is fine. We don't need linebackers or anything like that. Tight end, whether or not we keep Ingram. I mean, this guy. I guess you can't throw it to him because he misses the ball when you throw it to him. If you do an end around or some kind of quick screen, he can handle that. But when it's 10 yards, 7 yards slant, right through his hands, he can't catch it. But if he catches it, he's gone, but he just can't catch it. I don't know what gloves they use. It was raining out. They got to get some kind of Lester Hayes stick-em gloves so the ball doesn't get past them. But
yeah,
I think it's a pass rusher. I think O-line and probably a receiver. Probably a receiver that's going to, the problem like with Slayton's quick, but he gets no separation. He's never open. So Shepard is easily our best route runner. He gets open more than anybody, and he catches the ball, but he gets banged up and he doesn't make it through the whole season. So, I would say receiver is the third one. So I think those are the three pieces we need. Yeah.
I think that would be a great pick. If it falls and Rousseau or Rousseau, however you say his name, I'm not sure.
Risotto.
I've seen he's delicious.
He's delicious.
He's all over mock drafts, all over. I mean, he's anywhere from a top 10 to the 30th pick in the draft. I mean, he's just that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. But that's so I like going off of Draft Tech for mock drafts. They do a pretty good job. But I'm looking on Tankathon's mock draft, and they've got him going to you guys at 11.
Yeah, and he's kind of a raw kid. He's kind of like JPP was, just, a lot of energy, big, wild kind of, so hopefully that's what we need. We definitely need a pass rusher, whether we get it, through the draft or other way. We definitely need that because I think, Tomlinson and Williams and, our line has been consistent all year and played probably the majority of the season together. I don't think they missed much. So they all come back. I think the line is pretty secure, a defensive line. We just get a rusher in there.
That's I like it. And I'm on Tankathon's thing looking at there. That's where they have you for the mock draft. But for
the Eagle game from last night?
No, I knew it. I knew that was coming.
Tankathon.
No, Tankathon keeps track.
I mean, how don't they get penalized? I mean, really, how don't they get? They should have to give up something. They should have to give up something.
You could say the same thing about Jacksonville. I mean, they purposely put in their worst quarterback. I mean, you got Mike Glennon starting over Minshew, and they're resting.
But they were already locked into the one pick. They were already locked into the one pick.
Not when they were putting Mike Glennon in. That was still like 5-6 weeks out when they started benching Minshew. Actually, maybe even more than that when they started benching.
All right, so Minshew was hurt, or they started him. They started
him.
I'm talking about when you have a good chance of winning a game and deciding to lay down instead. That's different. It's different for me. Even what sitting Big Ben, sitting Mahomes, that's not the same thing, right? You're sitting in preparation for playoffs. That's not what happened last night. It's not the same thing in my mind. Well, what happened last night is it affects the integrity of the game. It does. I mean, you have to play to win. The players want to win, and that's it. And you cannot just tell them, go out there and you prepare and you practice and you do everything, but then at the end we're going to lay down. No.
So the last 2 years, what have we heard? Tank for Tua. Tank for Trevor.
No, you heard the fans say that, not the players.
Suck for luck.
Suck for luck. I mean, look at Andy.
Suck for Sam too. It was the same thing with that the Browns were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time.
Right.
It's just now it affected a playoff game or a team that was going to the playoffs, which quite honestly, I mean, Jim, let's face it, and I'm not trying to be mean. Giants had a decent season, but were they really going to do anything in the playoffs?
Only next week.
I don't think so. Potentially, yeah.
Only next week.
Because I'm sure Brady's happy he doesn't have to go to
doubt.
New Jersey.
No doubt.
I'm sure he is.
He doesn't want to see Giants blue. No way. No way.
But yeah, I mean, it's to me, the NBA has been doing it for a while, and I can't stand that. Johnny Muck's putting that in, and also the highest point spread's 19. It was 94. San Fran against the Chargers.
That's what it's going to be next week. Watch. What do you think? You think Tampa Bay's not going to win by 2 touchdowns? Really?
Oh, I think they will.
Of course they will.
I think they will, but I mean,
so you're going to bet on Washington with plus 20, or you're going to lay 20 points?
I mean,
you're laying the points.
I'm laying the points.
Right. But I mean, what I'm saying is, it's not going to be 20. By no way is it going to be 20. No way.
I'm saying, would you, if the spread was 20, would you lay the 20? Of course you would.
On Washington?
Tampa Bay, Washington next week.
I mean, they could beat them by 40. I don't know. I mean,
that's my point. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, you could put it 30. I mean, who knows? Maybe that defense holds Brady down. I mean, you see what happens when you put pressure on Brady. I mean, you see what happens when you put pressure on any quarterback, and Washington can do that. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be an absolute shell shocking unless both teams' defenses suck, and then Washington's going to have a really hard time keeping up with Tampa.
Oh, maybe it's snowing. Maybe we're having a storm. Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, but Brady put up 55 against Tennessee in one of the worst snowstorms I've ever seen. So,
well, they're only 8-point underdogs right now.
That's what I mean. It's not going to be
8 points. I mean, go put your money down right now.
Bet your house on Tampa. I mean, what are you talking about?
I mean, I'll bet on Tampa with 8, absolutely. But I'm telling you, Washington's D. That's what's probably keeping it at 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lions had no D, but I mean, maybe. I don't know. Plus, if they're on the field a lot and tired, yeah, probably so, Johnny Muck. But we'll see. Yeah. I'm just trying to piss Jim off too, Johnny Muck. Yeah. That's all. This is my day to piss Jim off.
Right. So, we did it to ourselves. I mean, we should have. You never leave your fate in the hands of somebody else, right? We should have beat the Eagles when Ingram dropped the ball. We should have beat Dallas when we knocked Prescott out, but they got a lucky catch down the sideline by Dalton. Yeah. And we should have beat Tampa Bay. We had Tampa Bay down, big lead. Yeah. Chicago, we lose Barkley. So we should have easily had at least 2 more wins, won the division, and this would have been a moot point. But, and again, it's not about the fact that they did it. And I don't think they purposely did it to the Giants.
Right.
It's just wrong. To my core, it's wrong that you play to win. You play
maybe they go to a lottery instead of the like the NBA.
God, I hope not.
I hope not as well. But I mean that
right
that does away with tanking. But
yeah, but they still tank in the lottery. I mean, look at Philly. Look at Golden State a couple of years. I mean, it's just like, come on.
But there's times where you tank and it goes under the radar, and then there's other times where you're on prime time and everyone sees it, and everybody knows it, and everyone's talking about it. Right? This is you got caught now. Right. So there's plenty of times where, it's not on TV. It's in a small market. Nobody even knows. Nobody even cares. Right. But last night was different. It was prime time. Prime time.
Well, you go back, even in baseball, you go back, 7 years? Look at the Astros. They lost 100 plus games 3 years in a row. And you end up with Correa, Bregman, Springer. Yeah. You load up. Mm-hmm. You suck for a couple years. You load up, and then you go on a championship run.
Right.
So, what I found kind of funny?
They still cheat.
And they still cheated. But they won. And they didn't take it away. So,
not yet.
I wish Peterson wouldn't have said he earned some playing time. That was, come on, man. I would have came out and said, "Look, Hurts wasn't looking good. I was looking for a spark." Don't say in the fourth quarter.
No.
Don't say in the fourth quarter, "Oh, he's earned playing time," because he obviously hasn't. Because he wasn't even your second option after you pulled Wentz. If you're gonna put him in, say, "Hey, I was looking for the spark, the same spark I got when Jalen Hurts came in for Carson Wentz." Man, you know what? They still may not be believable, but at least it's a better excuse on why you did it. You're gonna come out and say, "Oh, he deserved playing time," huh? Your fucking record 6-10.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have 6 wins. He should have been playing before.
Right.
If it was try and lie good.
It was 35-10 Eagles, he deserves some playing time. Throw him in there for mop up.
Yeah, absolutely. Or vice versa. 35-10 friggin' Washington.
Or they're losing, but
right. But I mean, think about what it does to Hurts's pride too, right? I mean, for him to go out there and say, he has a chance to knock someone out of the playoffs, right? As young as he is, to go in there and do that, and then you take it away from him. You don't think he wanted to go in and win that game at the end?
Of course.
I mean, he wanted to make that connection in the end zone in the third quarter, but for him and not to let him do it and not to be able to judge him and see what you got for next year, because to me that's a pressure game. It's a primetime game. The lights are the brightest. You have a chance to knock out your divisional foe from the playoffs, and you're not going to see if your guy could do it, and he's going to be your future. Come on.
You know who's laughing? Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is laughing.
So did you see the footage of him leaving the field at 1 a.m? Him and Kelsey and Ertz just sat on the field because they were probably beside themselves too, and probably know they're not going to be together anymore. But
again, I mean, everyone's talking about trading for Carson Wentz, boy, but I mean, there's no way the Eagles can sustain that cap hit.
What 59? What is it?
It's in the 40s, I think, right? 40s or 50s.
Higher than that.
It's just disgusting.
It's stupid.
They've not only handcuffed it. Peterson's made it such a volatile situation now. How are you going to fix that? When your quarterback publicly says he wants to get traded because he can't talk to the coach or whatever he said. My God, what's happening? And now both quarterbacks look like shit. I mean, Hurts was 1-3. It's not like he won a lot of games, He sure wasn't winning last night. But I mean, I don't know, man. That's a tense situation there. And Jim, I'm sorry for you because your team was the only chance. Your team was the only team that had a chance to kind of go to playoff.
Tampa. Oh.
And then we could have prolonged this agony, Jim, of like you getting crushed by Tampa and then you picking in like 23rd or 25th. And
I don't care about that.
Well, you will if you get Devontae Smith. I'm telling you right now. You get Saquon back, you get Devontae Smith. Oh boy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You get one of those guys, you'll be like, you know what? You know what? Doug Peterson for friggin' president for me. Because that team would be sick.
Yeah, Saquon, Ingram, Shepard, Slayton, and Smith.
Oh.
Jesus.
Woo.
Yeah, if Daniel Jones can't work with that, you're drafting another quarterback.
Trade for Darnold. Trade for
Darnold. Just switch locker rooms.
Switch lockers. That's right.
Suck for Sam, baby. Suck for Sam.
Yeah, that would be a formidable offense right there. Yeah. That would be something to see if they could get that thing rolling. But man, just Smith and Saquon alone. Oh my God.
Jim, I'm just trying to put you in a better mood, brother. That's all. I love giving you shit, but I feel bad for you. I do.
I mean, it's literally either hand it to Saquon or just chuck it down the field to Smith.
Yeah.
Like just
he'll be sick.
Yeah, and he's good. And speaking of sick, you know what it would make you really sick, John? This the Tankathon Jets mock draft has them taking Zach Wilson number 2 and Travis Etienne at 27. That would be nice. That would be nice. Not for you. I don't think you would enjoy that as a Patriots fan, but that would be a nice.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And I'll tell you what, I hope the Jets draft an offensive lineman and a punter in the first round.
Yeah. Now they'll take a kicker.
Yeah.
They took a punter last year, so now
Oh, that's right. That's right. We'll take a kicker in the first.
Yeah, so they'll take Swell and then the best kicker at 27 because it's a free pick. What's the matter?
I mean, why? Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, all right. So yeah, we've busted our hour again, so we should probably definitely wrap this thing up with it. But it was a disappointing season.
Wait, one last thing. A New England Patriots tight end caught a touchdown in the fourth quarter of Week 17. Season's done. I mean, it's a win.
Actually, how
tight ends had 3 receptions yesterday for 60 yards and a touchdown. It's a miracle. It's a January miracle.
Did how many touchdowns did Cam throw?
3, and he caught one.
So they broke. I saw that if he needed to throw 2 for him to hit 10 touchdowns, I think, which would have been, if he didn't, it would have been the lowest touchdown thrown by a New England quarterback since 1970.
How many did he finish with?
He had to have finished with 11, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's see here. I know he had 12 rushing. And let's see here. 12 rushing and
is it still showing 8?
8 passing. Yeah, he only had 8 passing touchdowns.
Oh.
Because he had 20 total. He had 20 total touchdowns. And a reception too. And he caught one.
Yeah. So yeah, he might have done it anyway. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was really
8 throwing touchdowns.
8 touchdowns by a Patriots quarterback.
A quarterback.
Yeah. So I think so they said he needed 2 touchdowns to beat that. So I think he might have. So then the record might be 7 since 1970. So
must be.
But still really bad. Anyway. All right. So I think we'll be back through the playoffs, right? We're gonna
absolutely.
We'll do some playoff previews. You still got.
Are we gonna do a pick'em? Are we gonna do a pick'em?
Yeah, I got.
Sorry, we're gonna prolong this about another 2 minutes.
Did they put out a?
Let's see.
Oh, I think actually Michael ended up winning our league. Gangrene. No, 3-way tie.
3-way tie. Oh boy.
Damn. Because I picked the fucking Eagles. God.
Who would have thunk it? I even picked the friggin' Jets yesterday.
Me too. Yeah. So myself, you, and Michael tied at 161 picks. That was
really.
That was pretty awesome. I don't know if. Let me see.
I only had 3 wrong picks. Yeah, the Panthers over the Saints. What was I thinking?
They had no offense. What do you mean? What were you thinking? All the running backs were out.
That was the worst thing ever.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what. Does Teddy come back? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't know. I don't know if you can judge him with Christian McCaffrey out all year. So I think that's a tough one.
Yeah. All right. So on Yahoo, there is a playoff pick'em. So I'll create a link, or I'll create a group for us tonight, and I will put the information up on our fan page on Facebook, so you guys can join there, and we'll compete against each other through the playoffs and see who comes out on top.
Nice,
John. I'm going to take you down. I'm not content with a tie. So I'm going for it on 4th down. I'm not
4th out and 4.
Take the field goal. Take the points.
Look at Jim.
I had to.
I love it.
So
now,
cool.
Let's play to come close, not play to win. How about that?
Let's play to be competitive.
Yeah. It's 8.5 Tampa right now.
It's going higher than that. Come on.
I can't bet on it though. That's the funny thing. I can't even bet the points right now. They're not letting me.
Let's
Interesting.
add this. Yeah. Not the spread. All right. Drop each team's. I'll use all weeks. Deadline.
Set it up, put it on the page.
For each game. Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
How about the Rams and Seahawks? What a confusing game that's going to be this week, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just confusing.
I don't know if Goff is playing or not. So,
I mean, he pops his thumb back in and finishes the game, right? I mean, what?
Guy's a monster.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. When
He has
you actually
pins
do
in
stuff
there,
like that.
though.
Yeah, he put
Yeah.
pins in,
Yeah,
and he wanted to play this week.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
Yep. This is
All
funny.
right, so for everybody watching, if you go on, I'll put it up on the link as well, but I just created it. So if you go on to Yahoo Pro Football Pick'ems in their fantasy section, join a custom league. The league name is the Bean Apple Playoffs, and the password is the Bean Apple, all one word, all lowercase, nice and simple. So jump on again, Yahoo Fantasy Pro Pick'em, and join a league, and then search for our league. It should ask you for the password, the Bean Apple, all one word, all lowercase. So, and search for the Bean Apple Playoffs, and that'll get you in. I'll put it up on our Facebook page as well later. So, and we will battle it out as we go. So, it probably won't be much of a difference because unless somebody gets an upset right, it's not going to really be too much of a spread, but it'll be fun anyway. So cool. All right. So, we'll be back. We'll do a show later in the week. We'll probably do our normal Wednesday show, I'm guessing. We'll actually push it a little.
Playoff preview.
Playoff previews and take your guys' thoughts. See if TB12 can get past Washington for the New England fans and for the Jets. I know
Guys are just forfeit.
I love it. And I am rooting for the Rams to knock the Seahawks off to get us that bigger pick, or that better draft pick. So, but we'll see. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on what the health of the Rams are going into this game. We'll see what happens. But cool. So until then, thank you for tuning in. We got some excellent interaction today. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, set it to all, and please like the episode. Help us grow. It was a blast. Thank you all again. And come back next for our next show. I'll get it up so you guys know ahead of time. And until then, for John, for Jim, I'm Joe. We will see you guys next time.